Oh,
Wow.
shoot. I didn't have that song queued up here, John. Let me get
No,
that.
you don't need that. People are tired.
Just like me, they long to be close to
What a
you.
voice. Is there a voice better than that?
Oh, what a sad story, though.
Oh, I know, especially because she didn't really die of the anorexia. She had overcome that, and she died, I understand, from complications that the
Yes.
anorexia had caused. But I don't think I know of a voice
No.
that equals that one.
The only other one that comes to my mind is Alison Krauss.
Ah,
Alison Krauss is a voice
I've
for the
seen her
Union Station.
with Led Zeppelin dude.
Oh, isn't that
Geez.
terrible?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Wow, wow, are we bad with our memory
oh
skills?
my
Robert
God.
Plant.
Thank you. Thank you. I saw them together.
Wow, that was taking me a long time to get that one to come together. Hey, we need to
Uh,
finish up with our group of shows for the day. We have a
okay.
viewer question. My buddy James Saxon had a really good question, or
A
it's a couple of
real
questions.
viewer question.
It's a real, yeah, we didn't make this one up. This is a real viewer question. So here it is. Ready? So how much of creativity is from the image capture standpoint? So how much creativity is going into the capture of something? And then how much of the creativity is in post-processing? And then his last part of the question is, how much of your creativity is the combination of the capture and post-processing? So what do you think?
I would hate to try to put a percentage. I would say that both the shot and the post processing are critical to the creative process. And, it probably varies from time to time, but you could not just have one and not the other. So they're both critically important
Yeah.
because when you have a vision, it drives how you frame that shot, how you expose that shot. And it certainly affects how you process it.
Yeah. And as we've talked in other shows, it takes a while for some people, because I know there's a lot of people say, man, I can't pre-visualize anything, or it's so hard. How do you know when you're in the field what it's going to look like? And there is a little bit of experience that certainly comes with that. But I
Yes.
would agree with you that the creative process starts immediately in the field. So in the image capture part of it, is it as creative? Well, it can be for those who love multiple exposures, for those who like doing intentional camera movement. Those can be moments where you're saying, hey, this scene really lends itself to a more creative interpretation. And I'm going to move my camera in little increments up or down or sideways or whatever I'm going to do to create a very impressionistic look. So that's a creative spark that's happening in the field for sure.
But just how you crop the image, how you frame it can be terribly creative. Or the angle. I mean, doing something that's completely out of the box, breaking the rules.
Yeah.
Um,
Being low, being high, going up the
yeah.
hill a little further to get separation.
Yeah. So it really is, both parts are critically important. Now, let's just do a question that kind of could leapfrog from his question. When you look at the image in the field, do you know if it's going to be a winner? Do you know if it's going to work? Do you know if it's going to be able to end up looking how you're imagining it? What do you
Not
think?
always would be my answer. Not always. However, I think of John Netherton, who was a gentleman who killed himself eating Twinkies. That's reasonably true. I mean, he ate junk food up the wazoo, and we always surmised that we lost John early because he ate too many Twinkies that were in his car for 25 years, and he'd find it, and Twinkies. The good news about Twinkies is 25 years later, if you find one under your seat, it's still good. I mean, it doesn't have an expiration date. But anyways, but John, when he would, and I've had this moment, and I'm sure you have. So the answer to your question is no, not always, except there are moments when beyond a shadow of a doubt that it's going to be fantastic. And John would do a happy dance. He would literally go walk around his tripod just so excited because he just knew that moment was really extra special because of the light, because of the composition, whatever. So there are moments where I know for sure that, man, that's going to be extra special, but absolutely that's not always the case.
I've had images that I look on them on the back of the camera and I'm going, that's going to be a winner. and it doesn't work. And I've had the opposite where I took an image that I didn't really think, but it turned out to be pretty great. So
Yeah.
you can't judge too much in the field, because sometimes you're taken away by the emotion of the moment.
Yep.
Sometimes you underappreciate what you've captured and you won't see it till later.
That's
So,
right.
yeah.
And sometimes, like, take it once and now go to the processing side of James's question. Sometimes, and if you watch the last episode, they look really flat and terrible sometimes as a raw file. And it's easy to go on to the obvious one that's going to really work from a processing standpoint. And I do that. So my process there is to go ahead and do those that I reacted to emotionally in the field, like that one I showed in the last episode. I couldn't wait to go process those because that experience was so powerful, right? So I do all those, but then a month, two later, I'm still going back to Faroe Island images and realizing, wait a minute, I made that image because I was really connected to it. The raw file is awful. I mean, it looks totally flat because the light was so crappy. And then I do a few, tone curve adjustments and I go, oh, that's right. That's what I was remembering in the field, that this had lots of potential. And now I start that creative process in the post-processing side of the equation.
Now, I've heard people boast, and I'm not sure why they are so proud of this, that they do no post processing, that everything they do is in camera.
Yeah.
And they take great pride in that. So I would have to assume that any creativity that takes place only on the shot side.
Yeah. Why limit
Yeah.
yourself though? And I understand
Yeah.
what you're saying. I get it. They're using split grads instead of maybe doing that in post processing, right? They're using filters of some sort, and they're waiting for the light to be perfect, which is going to give you a much better raw file. But yeah, why would you ever be ashamed of doing any post processing?
My interpretation of those people I've run into are they're anti-manipulation people. Photoshop, we manipulate everything. And I used to be one of those when I thought of myself as a photographer. Manipulation was bad, the M word.
Yeah.
But, once you've crossed the line from photographer to artist, using photography to make meaningful images, expressive images, manipulation is one of the most powerful tools you have. And you don't shun it, you embrace it. You want to manipulate it, because what my eyes saw isn't what I want you to see.
Yeah. Yeah.
And oh my gosh, how many times have we looked at a raw file and it's just garbage until you manipulate it?
Yeah, until you start to work it. And that's to answer James's question. So I think it's equally important is where you and I both fall out. The image capture part, you can enter into that creative process right away, and I do, and I think you do for sure. And then in the image processing side, and both of those come together to honor the vision that we like to talk about.
Yeah, and let's emphasize that there's three components to a great image in my mind: the vision, the shot, the processing. If you're out there just focusing on the shot and the processing, hoping to stumble upon a great image because you've learned a new technique or a tool, you're missing the most important third, the vision. Because the vision is what should be driving the shot and should be driving the processing.
Excellent way to wrap up. Good to be with you again for a few episodes. Folks, like us, subscribe, ring the bell. Even if it's a bell in your office that we'll never see you ringing, ring the damn bell. It's going to be awesome. You're going to feel good.
We'll hear it.
See ya.